If you love to travel, you are going to need a travel agent. And if you want the best travel agent, you are going to need Boullies Travel. Boullies Travel can help you with any kind of holiday wherever you want to go in the world, taking care of every last detail. From package holidays through to fully customized itineraries where you are completely in control of where you go and what you do. And the best part, there are no charges whatsoever. Rated excellent on Trustpilot. Start your next adventure right now by going to bouliestravel.com.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Ottawa Uncovered. Let's jump right back in.
That sounds very cool. Sounds awesome. What's this? Come away from a shawarma now. Explain like the food scene out there, like the restaurant types, the street food. Kind of how's all that come together?
It's pretty cool because, like you said, one of the things that makes Ottawa so unique is that how diverse we are in culture and experiences, and that includes our culinary scene, diverse in experiences and in affordability as well. If you are more of a If you want to splurge one night and you're celebrating a special event, you can experience some iconic places like Riviera, which used to be a bank that they turned into a restaurant. And it has a pretty cool, unique story that it was once robbed by one of the tellers that used to work there, who, when it became a bank, came back years later after years of prison, after he got caught, and announced that he was himself the robber who robbed the place. And he went downstairs in the wine cellar, not what became the wine cellar, and he's under his wanted poster, he signed his prison number. So that's a pretty cool story. So you see a lot of that in terms of the street food if you were Canadian. So if you never had poutine, you grabbing from one of the poutineries outside or at a poutine festival. If for people who don't know what poutine is, it's fries, cheese curds, and gravy with different variety of different spins on it sometimes that people will do, but you can really stick to the classic. On top of that, we already mentioned shawarma, so I'm not going to go back there again, but though I really want to.
Well, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. On top of that, we have that's the other important thing. We have our food scene, like I said, as diverse as it is, also offers optionalities for all sort of dietary restriction, from vegetarian food to vegan cuisine or things that are more halal and all that kind of stuff. So we're very food friendly in general. And it's that kind of spot. You want to walk, if you're walking on sparse streets, for example, you want to grab a hot dog at one of the hot dog stands. If you want to have a place where you can grab a beer, you might want to stop at Chateau Lafayette, the oldest bar in Ottawa. It was open since the 1800s, 1893, I believe. And still ongoing right now. If you want something more, if you want to splurge, like I said, you can go to Riviera, you can go to Anna, which is a Canadian fusion cuisine that also embodies some indigenous practices into it as well. You can, again, there's so much of it. If you depending on what you're into, what you want to afford, what's your budget, again, from budget friendly stuff to a more sophisticated stuff. If you want it, we have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned in the middle of that there, you mentioned beer. Now I absolutely love beer.
I believe you.
I've done a bit of homebrew myself as well, and making some recipes. And I made this one. It was an imperial pepper stout.
Nice.
And I bought enough to make like a bigger batch, but I thought I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to make like a smaller batch first of all. So I made like a demi-john, and I bottled it all off. It's ready. There's a little bit left over, so I thought I'd try it. And I thought, God, that was so strong on pepper. Yeah. It was really, really strong. So anyway, I bottled it all off. I kept it all off. I put it away for a few months. I put it back out again, and it was absolutely awesome. Nice. It was so good. Best thing I ever made in my life was that one beer. There's only 6 bottles of it, and I think I polished it all off quite soon after that. And after I calculated it up, what it cost me, and it cost me about £10 a bottle to make, because I only made a small batch.
Gotcha.
Well, I should have made a bigger batch. It would have been fine, but it cost me a lot more. So yeah, I love beer. I can talk about it all day long. So Canada has like a really good craft beer scene going, doesn't it? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Microbreweries, local breweries, whatever you're into here. We do have British heritage too, right? So there's
absolutely.
So you can come experience that here as well. So definitely, if you want to go, for example, to the Mere Marketplace on Spark Street, their beer selection is just amazing. And then there's also Sir John A on Elgin Street. They have some very unique selections, so both local IPAs, if you're into ciders and all that stuff. It's I want to say that our beer selection probably rivals our culinary diversity, because here people like to experiment. We even have a beer festival that happens here, that happens in this region once a year, if not twice a year. We definitely have a winter one, but I believe we have a summer one. And if not, yeah, we might even have more. Like I said, if there's one thing we're gonna celebrate here, it's beer. It's and also, what's pretty cool is that you can experience some of the microbreweries, for example, in Orleans, or the local breweries in Orleans, or in the West Side. There on the Ottawa Tourism. If you look at ottawatourism.ca, you'll find some very unique experiences where there's going to be a personal story or a unique take on how this brewery came together and why. And one thing that we also have here is maple beer, which we get once a year. Once a year, some people will carry it a little longer, but some places here will have maple beer, which is, as Canadians, we're proud. Maple syrup and hockey, two things that we're very proud of.
Yeah.
Not so stereotypical, but it's true. So definitely, there's a lot for you to experience in that regards too.
What time does this winter beer festival happen? Is it like October? Because we have Oktoberfest in Europe, and it's really big in Germany and kind of those areas. But it's every October we go out, and even where I live now, we go around, we do these beer runs, we hop on a bus, you keep getting off on different pub stops all the time. Haven't quite made it all the way around yet, though. I keep falling off and having a bit too much, but yeah, do you do it at the same time here, like an Oktoberfest there?
We have it going on on February 28th to March 1st. That's the Heart and Beer Taco Fest. That's Heart and Beer Taco Festival. We also have Byword Beer Fest. That one happens on March 7th to March 8th. So like I was saying, we actually have them going on. We have these different spins on beer festival happening throughout the year. It's seasonal. You'll have some in the winter, some in the spring, some in the summer. We also have beer tours, like Brew Donkey, for example. They'll pick you up. They'll pick you up somewhere and have you do multiple stops where you get to try the beer at different local venues. You know what I mean? They really guide you through the history of where that beer came from, how it was made, why it was made, the story of that location, and all that kind of stuff. How old this specific technique too that they've used or has been around, and all that stuff. Whether it's through those many festivals or whether it's through some of our beer tours. For example, with Brew Donkey, no matter when you come throughout the year, there's a way for you to experience all of it at once. That's one thing you won't have to worry about. If anything, the only thing you have to worry about is which one do you want to do?
All of them.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you anytime.
You were kind of really polite with that last time. You said just hop on a plane and come on over. I'd absolutely just love to just hop on a plane, come and see over there, and go check out some beer festivals. I think nothing better. Let's take a look at the seasons now in Ottawa. Yeah. And how they change. And obviously we know kind of Canada's really good in the winter, loads of snow, very cold. But talk us through the seasonal changes, because here we don't have so many seasons. We do, but they blur into one and the other one becomes the other one, and it gets hot in the winter when it shouldn't be, and it gets cold in the summer when it shouldn't. It's just all over the place in the UK. So kind of, how do your seasons work?
One thing you'll notice here is that our seasons are very distinct. Like when it's summer, it's really summer. When it's winter, it's really winter. When it's fall and spring, same thing. Okay? The identity of our city changes depending on the season. That's one thing that you'll learn to appreciate when you come and visit, is how well we adapt to all of that, and how much of that becomes a key part of our daily lives, our activities, our festivities, our day-to-day. Take, for example, in the winter, we have the Rideau Canal, right, which is a UNESCO heritage that turns into the Rideau Canal Skateway, the longest outdoor skateway in the world. And some people will think about it, because of how long it is, it might just be more convenient for you to skate to work in the winter. And some people do that. And when it melts it becomes the Rideau Canal again, and then people will kayak on it or paddle boat on it, or just enjoy for cruises and all that stuff. This is just one key example of many ways in which we adapt to all the seasons. The vibe is always going to be different from one season to the other. One thing that we'll have in the winter will be, for example, like winter, we'll celebrate Winterludes, family-friendly festivals that happens in the region where you can experience different winter like activities and festivities throughout the city and in Gatineau as well. And then in summer, you have the Summer Solstice Festival, the Summer Solstice Festival at Madaoki Farm, for example. You know what I mean? So the change of seasons is something that we really pay attention to because it's not like the way you were describing it, your end. For us, it's significant. It's significant.
You can't hide it. You can't get away from
No,
it.
for us, it's very significant. And when a new season comes along, you have to celebrate it, though. You have to notice it. And that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the key thing that we do as well.
Yeah, you mentioned there about ice skating to work. I used to play ice hockey as a kind of as a lad. So when I used to play for under 16s and stuff for local hockey.
Nice.
And it was always like a dream, just get out to Canada and just like people skate on their driveways where they freeze them over and stay on the rivers and stuff. Oh, I would have absolutely loved that. I've been in my element.
Yeah, no, I'm a big sucker guy. I'm a big hockey guy too. Like I played hockey from the age of 11 till 17. Yeah, I religiously watch the NHL every year. And there's something they say about people who are born in Canada, you're born with skates in your feet. I do believe that. It's the joys of winter.
So for somebody considering a winter trip, maybe Christmas or maybe the snowy activities, what do they need to know about that and how do they prepare?
Well, especially during the Christmas, when Ottawa is decorated with the Christmas light or the holiday lights, it's magical, especially downtown. A little bit everywhere, but especially downtown. If you like a white Christmas, if you like that vibe, that's exactly what you can experience. The Christmas markets is pretty amazing as well. Then there's also the holiday light tours that are available for people and all that stuff. The weather usually right around Christmas and New Year. By then we would already be snowed in. So you'll obviously dress the part. If you can also search and see what is considered warm in Canada and what is considered cold in Canada, depending on where we're from in the world. That has different meaning. So make sure to dress accordingly. But also very family friendly. You know what I mean? Very family friendly. That's another appeal of Ottawa, especially during the holidays. It's in terms of how snowy it gets. Like I said, you have to dress accordingly, prepare accordingly. If it gets to a point where it gets too cold, usually there's going to be a PSA advising people to stay home. And that happens from time to time, but that's usually it's a rare occasion. For the most part, it's very doable.
Yeah. So everything works. Your trains work. Your buses work. Like your taxis work.
Yeah, I mean, we're very functional. Even if you from one transportation option to the other, if for the whatever reason you were to encounter any sort of inconveniences, like I said, Ottawa is a very flat walkable city. So for the most part, it's very easy for you to navigate that city by Ubering. The distances, depending on where you are, will be very short. If that's not an option, we have a transit system that takes you from one side of the city to the other. That doesn't require that many transitions too, right? When you travel some places and you look at Google Maps, you're like, what? I'm going to have to take a bus, then walk, then take another bus, then kayak, and then climb this mountain, and then call the Uber, whatever. You most likely won't have to do that here, right? So either way, even if transit-wise, if you were to encounter any inconveniences, there's an alternative that is both affordable and convenient for you to take. And like I said, the distances within the city are very easy to reach for the most part. And yeah.
Cool. Can people make use of the shoulder seasons? Can people in between the seasons? Does that work for you guys out there? Or is it not really?
My favorite season is the fall, and September, October, November. Like especially that shoulder window right there. I think those are the ones that where the charms of Ottawa really come out. You know what I mean? Those are usually my favorite periods. As a matter of fact, they say when I take vacation from work, it's usually during those moments. To be honest with you, I love sharing Ottawa during the high seasons, both in the heart of winter and the heart of summer, with the people who visit, but even from an employee standpoint of Ottawa Tourism. I personally take my vacation during the shoulder seasons. That's usually, for myself, I find that this is where there's some of the most charm, but that's just me as a person.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So looking now with the experiences that people can have, so looking at different types of travelers, what are your top picks then for, let's say, family-friendly experiences? What should families plan for?
Well, if families, typically speaking, this is such a beautiful city to create family memories, right? Whether we're one family friendly experience that we have. We have the different national museums. So family friendly experience would be, for example, the Children's Museum at the Ottawa Museum of History, the Canadian Museum of History, sorry. Or I'm a kid at heart. If you go to the Canadian Museum of Nature, they have dinosaurs in there. Kids love dinosaurs, so do I. Dinosaurs will never not be cool. On top of that, if you want a more mature family-friendly experience, there's opportunities for Astro Tourism here as well. If you Astro Tourism as in like an opportunity for you to see the stars, for example, in the east side of Ottawa, in the Gloucester Plaza, once a day they have for Astronomy Day, they have all these astronomers pulling up with their telescope for you to the night sky and see all these astral bodies. That's unique. I've taken both my parents as a surprise. I went and picked them up and I was like, hey, that's what we're doing. So there's family friendly, but also generational traveling experiences too. Things that will really mark you and the family and things that you'll want to talk about for years to come.
So when is the Astro Day? You said it's like one day a year.
Yeah, it's 1 day a year. Give me 1 second, I'll tell you. Astronomy Day in Ottawa. That's May 15th.
May 15th.
May
Oh,
15th.
Cool. I was and is that like when you've got great views? And
yeah, absolutely. Because the parking lot is a very large one. It's on the east side of Ottawa. The parking lot is very large, and they'll fill it up with amateur astronomers, and some professional ones will show up too, and really give you these. It's a free experience where you get to come and just look at that. That was the first time I saw the rings of Saturn and the red spot on Jupiter and what Mars looked like and the craters of the moon and all that stuff. That to me is fascinating. I love that stuff. And that's pretty cool, right? Obviously, we also have a few beaches that are family friendly as well, like Pidgey Island, Britannia Beach as well, where they'll have different kid friendly activities. And we have a children festival too, that different children programs as well. But we also have the children festival. That one's happening on May 8th to May 13th, once a year as well. So that's a lot of fun for kids. They come in, they have their fun and all that stuff. And like I said, we also mentioned Winterlude, which also offers a lot of family-friendly programs as well. So from one season to the other, family-friendly adventures are just waiting for you.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And how about couples then? Couples and solo travelers. How does Ottawa appeal to those guys?
I love this question because I've had the chance to work with a lot of couples who work in travel media who met in Ottawa.
Okay.
So whenever that comes up, I say, oh, that's really cool. Ottawa offers a lot of experiences that are more of an intimate vibe that are really good for a date night. We have some beautiful speakeasies located somewhere on Spark Street, for example, which is I'll mention Spark Street a lot because that's one of my favorites in Ottawa. Pedestrian street where you can just go north and south on that street and experience all these really cool things. We also have some beautiful, like I said, if you go to the National Arts Center, for example, they'll have those more intimate concerts series, for example, at the fourth stage, where it's not as big as it's not as huge as their main stage, but it offers for more a jazzy feel or more romantic feel, and where you'll get to feel more personal storytelling perspective, a little bit more personal, and really share that with someone. And like I said, there's bars and sophisticated culinary scenes galore for you to pick from. So all it is just whatever your partner might be into, give us a call. We'll help you set up a date night and we'll have that itinerary crafted for you. Another cool thing that you can do, there's a food tour program called C'est-Bon Food Tour that's operating here in Ottawa. And what they do, they take you from one spot to the other for the different stages of your meal. So you'll have your appetizer in one spot, your main course in another spot, your dessert in another spot, then you'll grab a drink at another spot. And as you do that, they take you through the history of Ottawa, and they give you that more adventurous side of a date and whatnot. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I was kind of tour that. I quite like that. That sounds good. So we do a lot of multi-centers where we'll pair people with different zones. And you think about America, obviously you've got like New York, and we can put people in different places and even get up to the falls and stuff as well. So what kind of pairs really well then with Ottawa?
I would say, you know what? Ontario is a beautiful province, very diverse province. In experiences, you want to see some of the best of Ontario. There's this amazing road trip that I will recommend you right now. You start in Ottawa, or actually, there's what's cool is that you can start from any of these main points. But the one I'm gonna give you starts in Ottawa. You go from Ottawa to North Bay, from North Bay to Toronto to Niagara Falls. I mean, that right here, you have this take on Ontario, or you can start from Niagara Falls. Some people will say it's easier to start from Niagara Falls, Toronto, Ottawa, then North Bay, and then you come back to Toronto or to Ottawa to catch up here, depending on where you landed. There's direct flights option from Ottawa to London now, or from Paris, that gives you direct access to Ottawa. So that might be an easy key access for you. But that's the thing. You land in Ottawa, that gives you access to so many close, especially if you want to take that road trip and experience some of the best of Ontario. That gives you access to all these different interesting points of Ontario. You know what I mean? Like in North Bay, you'll have the beautiful country style small town with in front of the beautiful Lake Nipissing. That's just that in and on itself is just a scenery. Then you'll have Toronto, which is diversity, its culture, and its big city feel, and Niagara Falls, which is it's obviously its iconic natural monument. So that's probably how you want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds awesome. This is really cool.
Yeah, and I've done it to myself, so that's how I know.
Yeah, we help people with itineraries and putting stuff together again. And those nice round trips are great ways to go see places and explore them. You see so much, don't you? If you hire a car and get out. If they're going to do that, what I recommend in hiring a car, getting out, doing a tour, do an itinerary, but then as you're stopping, do some local tours, some guided tours, because they really bring out a lot of the information that you just wouldn't get otherwise by driving around or reading a book. You have to read loads of a book to be able to get it all out of people, wouldn't you? And if you do, you'll find the great food places, you'll find all these different gems that you otherwise wouldn't really find.
That's very true.
So coming up on a bit of future planning then on the map of kind of Ottawa, what's happening over 2025, 2026 that travelers should really be aware of and stand a plan for?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because we have a pretty big anniversary happening in 2026. Ottawa is celebrating its 200th anniversary. So if you're planning your trip, this is definitely the time for you to do. So we're gonna be 200 years old, and from Ottawa being Bytown to its eventual evolution as to eventually become the capital of Canada, as appointed by Queen Victoria. That's going to be pretty big. So that you don't want to miss already. There's going to be programs happening throughout the year. I could sit here and list them all, but there's so many. So you can guess that part for yourself.
Awesome. Cool. It sounds really good. Finally then, for us, what's kind of people who've been thinking about this now, who've been listening to it, they're thinking Ottawa is definitely a place I want to go. How should they go about planning a trip to get out to Ottawa? Because there's lots of different sides to it, isn't there? So what's your advice on how we can get the most out of it?
First of all, pick your season. Number one, like I said, our seasons are very distinct. So don't assume that because spring and summer seem so close apart, seem so close in time, that they're not, that this difference is not significant. It is for the most part. So make sure to plan accordingly and to dress accordingly. After that, make a list of activities that you might have enjoyed in the past, and or things that you haven't done yet but that you might be curious about. For example, zip lining. Here we have the interzip, where you can zip line from one province to the other, literally, because we're close by to Gatineau, which is on the Quebec side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an awful lot of things to think about there, and this is absolutely where travel professional comes into it. We have access to all the different types of people around the world, wherever you're going, and here's absolutely no example at all. And we can put together fantastic itineraries for people. There's going to be a drive, where there's going to be a little hotel stay. Pick the right times, give you all the best advice on how to make the most of that trip and that journey. For any of you listening today who have now got a little bit of a bug for it and you want to get out to Ottawa, absolutely get in contact with us. You can email us, you can visit us on the website, visit holidays. So don't visit, you can email us at holidays@bouliestravel.com, or visit our website, bouliestravel.com. just get in contact with us, and we would absolutely love to make this trip come true for you guys. Yeah, just drop us a message, and we'd love to make it happen. If you like what we've been hearing, make sure that you follow and subscribe. We're on many different platforms. We can't always respond to all of the comments, but please drop us an email if you want to. If you have a specific question about our podcasts, something you want us to cover off, any kind of feedback for us, then drop us an email to podcasts@bouliestravel.com. So there's no S on that. It's podcast@bouliestravel.com. Drop us an email there, and we'll gladly I'll just get back in touch with you again. And we're looking for any things you really want us to cover off as well. Any kind of topics you want to cover, any parts of the world you want to cover, and please get in contact. We'd love to be able to hear from you and make you part of this journey that we're all on. Vlad, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Yeah, insightful as always. And you won't know this, but this is our second time we put a podcast together between me and Vlad. And it was a bit of a technical difficulty on my end, which I'm really sorry for, Vlad, and sorry for having to call you back.
I got with you again and talk some more, and that was worth it. And now you have no choice but to make your way here and to experience shawarma with me and to have. Anyway, we're locked in, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, at some point I'll be coming over, and I will absolutely be in contact with you. I want to get that tour around that you promised us, especially beer. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, so thanks very much for joining us, guys. This is the Jason Boull Travel Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow for more. Bye for now.
Ciao.